Land resources and human impact. We know that a natural resource is something from Earth and living things use it to meet their needs. This is why land is considered a natural resource. Farming is a use of land resources. We use farming to feed people by growing crops, and then we also use it to feed livestock. Now, there have been some farming practices that have hurt the environment, such as using fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides. And this is because while it does kill the pests, it also injures other organisms as well. But there have also been practices that help the environment, like using natural fertilizers. We have learned about crop rotation and no-till farming, which helps save topsoil, which reduces runoff into streams and rivers and lakes. We just said that land is also used to grow food for the livestock for those who are in the meat and dairy industry. Forests, which covered much of the eastern United States in 1650s, have pretty much been depleted by the 1920s. And although some of the trees have grown back, they're not as tall, and all the forests are not as complex. Forests were cut down back then for the same reason that forests are cut down today, for fuel, for paper products, and for wood products. But today, that forests are managed to provide a sustainable yield, which is an amount of renewable resources such as trees can be harvested regularly without reducing the future supply. In sustainable forestry, after trees are harvested, young trees are planted. Land resources have also been developed to make room for highways and parking lots and building infrastructures. And while this is all things that humans use and rely on for businesses and homes, it also includes paving and paving over the land. And when we pave over the land, it prevents water from soaking into the soil. And this way now underground water supplies cannot be refilled. Landfills are areas where people deposit household garbage and waste, and then when they are done, they eventually are covered with soil. And while this seems to be a quick fix, unfortunately, there are many materials that go into landfills that do not decompose. And then, of course, when the landfills fill up, new ones need to be built. Many landfills are lined with plastic or concrete to prevent pollutants from leaking into soil or groundwater, but there needs to be more education on how we can better manage land resources. One way that governments manage forests and other unique land ecosystems is by preserving them. And by preserving land, logging and development is either banned or it is strictly controlled in these areas. Large areas of forest cannot be cut, and land that either cannot be mined for mineral resources, or if it is mined for mineral resources, it must be returned to the way it was before. The land has to be restored. There are already conservation efforts underway for farming to not only improve soil, it also helps improve crop yields. Recycling is another great way to conserve land resources. You can use yard waste and vegetable scraps to make rich compost for gardening. Recycling metals and plastics and other scraps also help the environment so they can be reused instead of sitting in a landfill. Okay, let's take a break here, and it's time to show what you know.